Esau is his father. Right? You've got to realise there's a history to us and the black, the Hispanics and the white. There's a history. That's why they hate us. That's why we're the ones who get the knee on our necks. We're the ones who get gunned down. We was the ones who got put in slavery by them. We've got a history. You know why? Because it goes back to the blessing. It goes back to the blessing. It's a spiritual thing. We got the blessing. When Jacob and Esau was born first. He was supposed to get the blessing because he come out first. You understand? The firstborn always gets the blessing. But God said, no, I'm going to change. I'm going to have this Jacob to be my chosen. So what it is, he's still fighting for the blessing up to now. It's a spiritual war between so-called black man and the white man. That's our big brother, because God said so. God said so. This is our big brother, but what it is, our big wicked brother Esau. Because brothers don't put brothers into cargo slavery. Brothers don't burn things. And you see, brothers don't put brothers in slavery. Brothers don't hang brothers. Brothers don't cut babies out of the bellies of women and stamp on them. They don't use babies. Brothers don't do that. They've broken the covenant. And God said he hates him. So I hate what God hates. Yeah? I'm not going to love something what God said not to love. He said he hates this man. But being a just God, he said, I've got to be just, I've got to give them rulership, otherwise they'll say I'm not just. And so what it is, he gave us free.
Can I state another point?
We're going to go into the Bible now. We don't know your statements.
Can I just
like
state one more point?
You're being an advocate for your enemy.
One more point.
All right, what are we going to do? Are you going to...
That same Bible you're holding, that Bible had us under slavery for 300 years, that Bible, yeah? That same Bible, what you're quoting out of, and all that, they had us under slavery with that Bible for 300 years. That same Bible. Quoting out of it, oh yes, they must be slaves and all that stuff, passages out of it.
And why was that?
You can have a slave and all that.
And why was that?
And then we're following that to the book, and then that's why we're entrapped. We've been entrapped by that book for over 400 years.
No, what it is, they got your mind.
No,
because
that
what
book,
it says, no, it's not.
It's that book.
All right, when we was in slavery, did they allow us to read?
They let some people read, like that time that they let him read.
Well, what was they doing when he was reading?
They let you read.
They were standing there watching what
thank you.
Thank you.
Because the old book's corrupted.
They didn't read the part
the old
where
book
it says
corrupted. That's what said us under slavery for 300-400 years is that book. That book there, I'm telling you. It's that book there. I'm telling you. We ain't gonna unite off of that book. That book ain't gonna make us unite, you know. To get us to unite and love each other again, it ain't gonna take a book. It's gonna take more than a book, my friend.
Alright, you said your piece now, yeah?
More than a book. There's more actions speak louder than them words right in there.
Let me read you a scripture.
Yeah? That's what I believe.
That's what he believes. Now let's see what he says.
See, you're digging in the same book, but they had the slavery.
This is God's word. This is God's word. Right?
It's not God's word. It's someone's interpreted it.
Okay, let's see.
And written, like Matthew, he had a story, but he weren't even there when Jesus was around. After them, all them bunch of them people, they weren't even around. So they're just reading off the stories what's been passed down to them. Imagine I tell you a story now, and then you tell your grandson the story.
This is Matthew, this is Psalms 14 and 1. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good.
Elders, they got addicted to that book. They got whitewashed through that book. Yeah? We weren't running no book in Africa. You see, we was running spirituality, my friend. That's what we was running. We didn't need a book.
This is Romans 3 and 3.
And all them kind of things. Off of the land, Reggie.
For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect?
Made that book.
God forbid.
There's a white guy.
Let God be true, and every man a liar.
Like me.
As it is written.
It's Obama. It's like Obama.
God forbid.
What do they call him? They call him black.
Let God be true,
Obama. Was Obama
and every
black?
man a liar.
Was
as it
Obama
is written.
Black?
You know what?
That the mighty
call
be
him back.
justified in thy sayings.
I feel like I'm in between
Yeah.
here right now.
What are you going to believe? That's why he says, let God be true and every man a liar.
Well, we believe in
Yeah?
the Almighty, so
That's
I
what you gotta
believe in
believe.
Almighty, but I don't follow no book because books can be corrupted. Especially a book that came straight from God. If your books came straight from God into his hands, into a man's hands, and then I say, yeah, because no one ain't trouble with it. It ain't been messed with. But that's been messed with, my friend.
Brothers, prove all things.
I'm trying to creep into chains.
Prove all things. Hold fast to that which is good.
Go to church every Sunday.
Proverbs
Pentecostal
30
church.
and 5.
Know how to make
Every word of God is pure. It is a shield unto them that put their trust in
God
him.
is pure. But the
Every word of God is pure.
But the book
It is a
pure.
shield unto them that put their trust in him.
And
Right?
if we,
I put my trust in the
and I
Lord. I
believe
don't
if
trust
we
in
got
man.
to solve the problem, we have to bring engaged white people into this issue. And you're not going to get the white people in this issue if they're turned off of it. You get what I mean?
8 and 47.
And approach it different. Because I've been here, I would chat to him all day long. I ain't got no beef with him. I ain't got no beef with him. I like his shit, what he's saying. He believes what he believes. I'm not going to say to him, I don't believe what you believe. So I'm not going to say disrespect. I'd never do that. With any religion, I wouldn't do that. I respect the man for his thing. But you've got to come across certain things different. Nowadays. If you want the point across, you've got to come different.
With regards to this thing, your beliefs, my beliefs, don't matter. That's this man's belief. Your beliefs are not taught up. My belief is still a nigga becoming a listener. Right? But listen,
I'm reading out of the book of God. So I'm coming in. God says to lean not unto thy own understanding. I'm going in the book. This is John.
Yeah.
This is
But
John
that's not the
8
book of
and
God.
47.
That's the book of
That's
man.
your opinion now.
It's the book of
And it
man.
says,
Who
he
wrote
that
it?
is of God, heareth God's words. He that is of God, hear God's words.
Who wrote it,
Ye
Reggie?
therefore hear them not, because ye are not of God. Right, let's read that again. John 8:47. He that is of God heareth God's words. Ye
Yeah.
hear them not.
God didn't
Therefore,
write that
because
book,
ye
though.
are not of God.
you're missing the point. You're missing the point.
I'm missing it.
You know why you're missing the point? Is because they're God's words. Whether or not it's come out of the Bible.
How do you know they're God's words?
Hold on. Alright, if it came out of the Quran, you're saying it would be.
It's gone straight from Allah
See what I mean?
into the Quran.
Well, actually, what come
It
first?
goes
The
straight
Bible or
from
the
the
Quran?
Quran, from
Bible.
Allah into the Quran. There's no John, Matthew, Paul, and all them people. Yeah?
Coming back to the word, religion.
And it's one God. Do you believe in the Trinity? Don't you?
No.
Which book?
No.
No.
So you believe Jesus is who's Jesus?
Son of God. Right.
It's the
sit there.
Son of God.
Yeah. Anything else? I don't
Yeah,
believe in the Trinity.
I don't think God would have a son.
Right, let's read
Because
about
I
how-
don't think he's a man. I think he's a spirit.
Who is he?
He's a being.
Who is he?
It's a being. What we say he all the time. We
Who's
always
the
say
being?
he.
Who's the being?
What the hell is creator? Creator.
He's not a man.
No, it's not a man.
Would a man sit on the throne?
Oh, well, that's what they say, but I don't believe it's a
Okay.
man.
Let's read about Muhammad then, yeah? Because you believe
He's
in
a
him.
prophet.
Right, listen, right. So there, when Muhammad was born, many Arabs were still worshipping the sun, the stars, the spirits, the idols. The Arabs possessed 360 idols, one for each day of the year. Muhammad was born AD 570. 4 years after his death, the Emperor Justinian was descended from the tribe of Quraysh and his family from Harash. His mentality and his progenitors in his youth was never taught. He was never taught to read or write. Speaking about Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad. He was never taught to read or write. His imagination, his superlative. Muhammad was an extraordinary handsome man, yeah? And eloquent in motivating men by the power of his words. On the business trips, he met the Jews. This is Muhammad, he met the Jews. Christians and members of other sects. He interrogated them concerning the tenets of their religion. So Muhammad went to the Jews and he used to ask them, oh, what about your God? And they should say, we've got one God, Yahweh. So it's, oh, we had 360 gods. So what we're going to do is, we're going to bring them down to one God. So he used to listen to the Jews, yeah? And he said, on his business trip, he met the Jews and Christians and members of sects. He interrogated them concerning the tenets of their religion. He frequented the environment of the Jews and their rabbis, mostly because they were merchants and the omnipresent ethnic group. That means there was more Jews around. Because he could not read or write, his ears was attentive and keen to everything the Jews related to him. Muhammad learned and extracted much from the Jewish religion and compounded it with his new religion, Islam. So where did he get it from? The Jews. It says here. Let's go into a bit more. Let's read a bit more about Muhammad. The Prophet Muhammad adopted many principles and laws from the Jewish religion. This is Babylon to Timbuktu, a scholar, a black scholar named Rudolph R. Whitmer. Went out and done his history, yeah? It's archaeology. The Prophet Muhammad adopted many principles and laws from the Jewish religion. So they compiled the Islam off of the Bible, right? It says here.
No, not the Bible.
It says, what is the Jewish religion? What is the Jewish so-called religion? The Bible. Right? The Jews, where do we find them?
Torah.
In the Bible. The whole Bible. Because it's got the New Testament, Old Testament, and the Apocrypha. Yeah?
They be using the Torah, no? Those Jews use the Torah, no?
Yeah, it's here. This was taken out of the Bible. This is why the white man took this out. It's got history of Alexander the Greek, Antiochus and Epiphanes. This is why we know the Bible is true, because all these men lived. This is why they took this out, to hide this. Apocrypha means taken and hidden. You understand? Because it's got a lot of history about the Maccabees. You know, in the West Indies, they've got the Maccabees Bible. This is what they took out. That's why the Maccabees Bibles in the West Indies is by separate. 1776, they took this out because they knew that, right, we've got to hide this history from the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, all right? That's what they've done. And it says here, Muhammad adopted many principles and laws from the Jewish religion. First of all, the basic idea of monotheism. That's one God, because they had 300 whatever gods before Muhammad was born. So he said, when Muhammad came on the scene, he said, right, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the Jewish religion and make it one God, right? Which was the belief in one God, right? So Muhammad sat down and listened to the Jews, very attentive. He couldn't read them right, so he listened. He said, oh. So I've only got one God. We've got 360 gods. So we're going to bring it down to the one God. What we're going to do, we're going to copy the Israelites and have one God.
That's your perspective.
It says it here. Right? This man's done his history. He's gone out and done it. And it says here. It just says it. Look, it says here. I'll read it again. You interpret it. I'll read it. You interpret it. So Muhammad adopted many principles of the laws from the Jewish religion. First of all, the basic idea of monotheism, which is the belief in one God. Right, so he adopted, it says here, let's go back, when Muhammad was born, the Arabs were still worshipping the sun, the stars, and the idols.
The gospel.
You're not reading it, let me read it, bruv.
No, but what I'm trying to say,
I'm trying to read it so he can understand.
You've got to read other things, you can't just read that.
I'm showing you how Islam come about. I'm showing you how Islam come about.
Yeah, but that ain't the word of the gospel, is it?
No, but I'm showing you how it was founded. He sat down at the Jews'
No,
thing.
but that's his interpretation, as you said in the beginning.
It's archaeology.
Yeah, but they go
out and find out.
That's not the gospel, though. That's like reading that. You don't read that, you've got to read the New Testament.
Shall we read the
like
Quran
that book
then?
you just pulled
Shall we
out
read
there.
the
Like that
Quran?
book you just pulled out there, you've got to read Many books. You
No,
can't
the
just read
Bible
one book
says-
and say, this is the gospel.
The Bible
this
tells
is
us
how
not
it
to
was
read
created.
many books, so
I
you end
don't
up
believe
confused
that.
like you. If you read too many books, you end up confused.
Not really.
You
Because
do.
now you
do.
get a
You
lot of
do.
knowledge, so don't you?
You get knowledge, yeah, but you end up with confused knowledge. Because you
No,
call yourself
only-
a black guy,
not
and you're not
really.
black,
Not really.
right? So you get confused.
Not really. I'm not confused.
You know what I
not
mean?
really.
Anyway, back to
I
Muhammad
think
now.
knowledge, when you soak in knowledge, you soak it in and then you assess it, you do your research, and then you take out pointers and what's correct, what lines up with the other information. You can't just pull out one book and say, this is where you got the thing from, don't you?
Am I supposed to smile? Am I supposed to smile? What am I supposed to take back? What am I supposed to do to the friend? What am I supposed to do to the friend?
Yeah, maybe a little smile.
No, we can't do that.
There you go.
Slaves don't smile.
That looks good. That looks good. I'm making it well, check.
It is like that.
Listen, what I've gained from this study moment.
Yeah.
I must have more, man. It's been more than a moment.
Yeah.
But what I've got from this study moment is that my man over here is not interested in the world because he's interested in God's word to the book.
Yeah.
And what he's saying is God is looking after his children, but we have to come over. You understand? We can't be in the middle or on the other side. We have to be
That's
over.
his notion. That's his interpretation, isn't
Is my interpretation coming out of the book?
All right.
That's what I'm asking you. Am
I
I
just-
here with closing the book saying what I
it?
would say? Am I down in the
I
Bible?
just said half hour ago what I just said, and look what just happened. The same thing I just said
Right.
happened, didn't it?
Right.
So how are we going to engage and have dialogue
What happened?
and
What
make
happened?
these people understand? You have to make
What
these
happened?
people
What happened?
understand it.
Basically, what he said is that the flipboard, you see this board here, flip
Oh,
it
this
over.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah? He
Yeah,
said,
but
right.
it wasn't like that, it was like this.
No,
No, it was the other way round. Because
Right, like so. And he's saying that if the white man come here and see that,
so
they're
you
going
even
to...
saw him and said, you don't look
Right.
friendly.
Now the point he's trying to make is, you don't seem like an easy approachable person. Basically, that's what he's saying. Now I'm saying that you're not
To me, it's because I'm black and I can
Right.
approach him, but to white people,
Right.
they're
Why
scared
You're
of
so
me.
worried about what?
exactly, and that's the point.
No, we're not worried about
are,
them.
you are.
We're not worried.
You are.
What
No,
I'm trying to
no,
say,
you are.
I'm not
Wait,
worried.
no,
What I'm
listen.
trying to say is,
Obviously
why
you are,
don't you
'cause you brought it
engage
up.
with them?
Because they're my enemy. Why am I going to engage with my enemy?
Everyone, you have to know, what's the word? Have your
No.
enemy closer. And
I don't think
that's it.
so. It's like he's stabbing
That's,
your
no, that's the
back.
word. You see, if a man have
See that
enemy,
foolishness?
you see when man have-
You that foolishness?
Listen, you see, that's the old time saying, Reggie. When you have enemy, make sure you can see them, you know, your enemy, you know.
Bro.
Yeah? What?
Oh, no, my enemy, no
what?
way,
England
yeah.
don't engage with Iraq when they had war. They didn't engage with them. You don't engage with your enemy. You must engage with everyone, my friend. If you want to solve the problems
I
of
can
these
see
problems,
there's
how
a
we-
problem here, man.
you see, how are we going to have a dialogue with these people? You don't want a dialogue.
Why
you
wouldn't
say.
why
You
wouldn't
don't want a
dialogue with
dialogue.
someone will put you in captivity, man? That's what I don't understand. Oh, you know there's a saying. You know there's a saying. It's called Stockholm syndrome. Do you know what happened?
I know what
Do you know what Stockholm syndrome
Yeah,
is?
that's a
Do you know what
thing.
happened?
No.
A white girl was
Don't think
captured.
it's
A
in
white
there.
girl was taken, captured. It's in Stockholm. This was in Sweden.
Yeah,
A white girl was
they made a film of
captured
Yeah.
by some robbers, armed robbers.
Yeah.
Right. And what they did, they had her in the basement. They had her in the basement for a very long
I
time.
don't think black people
Right.
got Stockholm syndrome,
Now, listen, we've got plenty of our people that got Stockholm
I
syndrome.
don't
They love
think
it.
PS
It's what it is. They had her in the basement, yeah.
PPS
And what it was,
all
they were
that stuff,
feeding her, yeah. And she thought she was down there for so long. When they was feeding her, she began to love them because they weren't neglecting her.
Okay.
Even though,
Okay, it's brainwashed.
basically, no, she got an affinity with her captives,
Okay.
because they were feeding her. Then she went
Built
out
up a
robbing with
relationship.
them. So when she went to court,
So she was brainwashed.
So you're trying to say
brain
slaves
dirty.
said that?
Because when you
Slaves
wash
said
your
it.
brain, it's
So-
being clean.
so you see-
It's being
So, all right, answer this question. So you reckon in slavery days, the slaves had Stockholm syndrome, you know?
Well, they ended up with Stockholm syndrome. They didn't originally. What it is, they killed the elders. Yeah. So the elders couldn't tell them their ways of being Hebrews.
Because they were brainwashed. They were definitely brainwashed.
Brain dirty.
The slaves were brain dirty.
Yeah. They were brain dirty.
I believe
because they learned all the ways of their enemies.
Their capture.
Just like today, we've got people that stick up for their enemy, not knowing. The Bible tells us we've got enemies.
It's nothing to stick
We were
up with.
sold to our enemies. Let's read it.
So
It's not about sticking up, it's
Question.
about dialoguing.
Question.
It's about engaging
No, but
and
we don't enough
dialoguing.
engaging. We end up with a neon on neck
Because
when we
you
engage.
see these kids,
we end up being
if
called
they know
niggas,
this stuff,
monkeys,
yeah,
wetbacks
you
and
see
baboons.
these young white kids, if they got to know about this
They
stuff,
love guys
maybe
like
their
this, bro.
mentality will change. But they're not getting this information unless they've got black friends. And black friends, because I tell my white friends this information, and I tell them history information about black people, yeah? And it can't be just me telling them, it has to be more people telling them and engaging
Well, read
with
the
them.
scripture,
They
brother.
don't know. It's like when they grow up and they learn racism. They're only learning it off of their people, innit? Off of their parents.
When we
innit?
were sold-
So if
when we
we
sold in our-
change the dialogue, yeah, and start engaging with them and teaching them their past thoughts and all these things.
I'm going to say something.
Maybe it'd be
I'm
a
going to
better
say
place.
something to both of you, right? When I was a youth, a church woman once said to me, if she ever hears this, she's going to remember that I'm like the cat on the fence because I'm not jumping either because my eyes ain't good, so I'm listening. I have to listen. And what holds me is the truth.
Right.
So if you're old to me, because it's the truth. I'm my man. I'm still on the fence because parts of this book that you hold in your hand doesn't totally make sense.
Okay.
Yeah?
But you've got to answer me the question what don't make sense, and I'll answer it.
All right.
That's why I'm here to do it. Do you understand? He's going to come out. He's not going to go to any script. Brother, what's your name? What's your name?
Dale.
Yeah. Dale ain't going to go to any book for his facts. Me, I'm going to answer with God's word.
Listen,
That's why he said to the law and to the
Say I
testimony.
don't. Say I don't.
All right,
But I watch documentaries,
All right,
I
here's
read
the Quran.
books. Yeah?
I've got the Quran there. Answer me with the Quran.
What am I going to
I'll
answer?
answer him. Anything you ask you, the Quran will
No, but
answer
what am I
anything.
going to answer you?
No,
from
answer
the Quran?
him with the Quran. Anything
what
you
am I
ask him,
gonna
get in the
answer
Quran. No, I'm saying the Quran. You believe in the Quran, yeah?
No,
So
I
this has
didn't
got all
say
the
I
answers.
believed in the Quran. I'll say I sway more to the Quran
All right.
than I got sway
All
to
right, but
that
this
Bible.
ain't got the answers then. This hasn't got the answers.
I'd sway more to that.
Right.
To that.
So that's what
I'd
I'm saying
say.
now.
I'm not saying
Use
I'm
the
in the middle
Quran
here.
to
I'm in the
answer
middle.
his answers because it's not in here. You won't get the answers out of this. The answers is in here.
So you say, but I'll say that's been.
Answer me a question.
That's
I'll
not
get out of the
facts. The Bible's not facts.
We're going to find out.
It's not
Well, let me read
facts.
this to you first. This
It's
is
not
Deuteronomy
facts,
28 and 68. You tell me this. And the Lord shall bring you into Egypt again with ships. By the way of I spoke unto thee.
Do we
Then-
know that's facts?
Can I read it, please? Can I at least read it to the brother before you interject? Right, and it says here, spoke unto thee. Thou shalt seek no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Now, who was we sold to? Off of slave ships. He says you're going to be sold off of slave. This is history. Slave ships. Cargo slave ships. This is a known fact. This is not.
This is known to be a myth.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Slave ship.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I was got
Reggie,
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't
Have
gonna.
you seen the Liverpool where it's
No, look, what you got to do is go onto YouTube. There's documentaries, yeah, that state that no one ever saw a slave ship with that pattern that are designed like that. There was slave ships, but it wasn't designed like that, my friend.
So
It wasn't designed like that. There was slave ships, though. There was.
that's the point.
I'm not going to dismiss there wasn't slave ships, but they will give you all these descriptions and all these things to make it more than it was.
Oh my God.
You're saying, "Oh my God," but that's
Yeah.
what I've
Oh
seen.
my
That's what
gosh.
I've seen. It's like these myths of what's the myth? Nanny was real. What's the other one in America? The one who does the railroad and all that kind of stuff. What was the person who done the Underground Railroad in America? What was her name?
Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman. All that is meant to be a myth. It's a myth. It's not a real person. It's not a real person. It's something what the white guys have put there to make us think that it's real. They put that, they advertise it there. They never find no Harriet Tubman and no evidence of no Harriet Tubman and things. That's what I'm trying to say. I've watched a lot of stuff.
You even said you can't rely on
No, YouTube videos from scholars in university. So if a scholar in a university is having a discussion on YouTube and his video there, I can't take the word for it. And he's a doctor, he's got PhD. So then, that's what I'm watching, you know. Not watching no guys who ain't got no degrees and stuff.
Jake is finished, bro.
Doctors.
Jake is done, bro.
It's like when I watch Dr. Zebby and them kind of people there, you take them, you study that stuff, innit? You go by his word, innit? Because he's researched these stuff. I'm not going off with saying things what I don't know, I'm saying things what I've seen and heard. But everyone's got a different point of view. You have to study it yourself.
So when I go into the Bible or when I go into the internet, then it's not feasible. You understand? Mine is not feasible, but
you see on,
when my man
see on
says he
Wikipedia,
watches
I can add text to Wikipedia.
Okay.
But if I watch a doctor what is actually chatting and studying and stuff, yeah, I'm going to take that more than the text what I read, isn't it?
Listen, I'm going to say this.
He's bringing up stuff as well.
I'm here at preaching the word of God. And I'm going to say what God says. I don't care what anybody else says. Oh, well, I don't believe that. That's up to him. Because at the end of the day, when these shops close down, I'm out here telling my people to come back and keep the laws of God. This is the only way out of this. Like I'm saying, do you know by the end of Christmas, they're going to be like, all these shops are going to be depleted? You know that.
Well, we're only going one way at this moment.
What? How do you know the famines is coming?
We're living in the
Do
mark
you know World War
of the
III
beast.
is coming?
Mark of the beast we're living in right now.
What is the mark of the beast?
The mark of the beast we're living in right now.
What is that?
Illuminati, all
No,
that
what
kind of
is the
stuff.
mark of the beast?
The mark of the beast to me is we're living in a devilish time now where the mark of the beast could be the jab.
There's the mark of the beast, yeah?
Could be the jab they're giving you.
This is the mark of the beast, the microchip.
Yeah,
Okay?
could
Right.
be the jab. Could be the jab.
Microchip is the mark of the
Could be
beast.
the jab, exactly.
Right,
Could be
this is
jab
the
they're
mark of
giving
the
you now.
beast.
That's where we're at right now.
We
Right
know
here.
we're at there.
And where would you find this? What book would you find that in?
Mark of the beast is in Revelation.
Thank you. So is it, let's try and find it. Can you find that in the Quran?
Okay. Okay.
I don't know.
No,
Maybe
you
you
can't.
could. Maybe
Right.
you can.
Right.
Maybe you could
Can't.
go in the
Right.
Quran.
You can't.
But we're
Now.
down on the
Right, let's go to the
Quran,
Bible
I'm not
and get the
even
mark of the
Muslim.
beast.
Yeah,
Right.
but the Quran is more certified
Revelations.
from God than this book. That's what I'm trying to say.
Revelations
This book has had
13.
us trapped in slavery for so many years.
Let's get it.
You see, in slavery days, they
Right,
had
this
us
is the
trapped
mark of the
over
beast in the Bible. This is why the Bible is true. This is why it stands out. This is Revelation 13 and
That's
6.
what the slave was.
And he calls it all.
That this book is the number one.
Can I read this?
And you
Can I read this to the brother?
That's where you
Am
got
I allowed
that.
to read it to the
But
brother?
that's
about
where
the
you
mark
got
of the
that
beast?
information from,
Can I
the
read
slave
it?
master.
Let's see. This is the slave master that predicted 2,000 years ago that they would come out with a mark of the beast where you can buy and sell. Let's see. This is
There's loads of
Revelation
stuff what you
13 and
predict.
16. Can I read it, please? Am I allowed to read it? Thank you. And it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
Yeah.
In your right hand or in your forehead. Yeah? There's a club called the Baha Club. You're only allowed in there with the mark of the... I ain't finished yet.
Something was written 600 years ago. Of course they can come out with it because it's been written. It's been written in the book,
Pre-written.
so I can come out with it tomorrow. This is in the book, and then I
This
can
is
say,
written 2,000 years
I
ago.
can say,
So
it's
2,000
in
years
the book
ago.
3,000 years ago, but I can come out with it tomorrow. What sense does that make?
It doesn't make sense.
Something was in the book,
It's prophecy.
and then I can prophesy.
Something
with
to
it.
say. No,
That don't make sense.
it's 2,000 years ago it happened. It's
Plus, it's a
written.
book, what was made by
Shaky,
King James.
completely. Go on now.
It's that book. The
Shaky's gone, bro.
You see,
There is
slave master
1360.
was reading us that book, the same book the slave master said, take that as gospel, we're reading it now. And then you're saying you don't like white people, but that's a white man's book.
Can you prove that?
That book is a white man's book.
Can you
The
prove
white
it?
man
Prove it.
made that book.
Let's see. Let's see.
Am I lying?
Let's see what Job said.
That's the devil advocate I'm
Let's
at
see what
right
Job
now.
said.
That this was made by a white man, that book.
Right, let's see. Let's
Prove
see.
that that book weren't made by a
Let me
white
prove
man.
it. Let me prove it to you. Let me prove it to you. Let me prove it to you. This is
Of course
Job.
it is.
This is Job 30 and 30.
White man made
My
that
skin
book.
is black upon me.
It
So,
doesn't
Job,
matter what
Job
you
is
read out
it's
of
a
the
white
book.
man's
I'm
book,
trying
but
to
Job
say,
telling me I'm a
you
black
see,
man.
the
My skin is
manufacturer,
black
even the
upon me,
manufacturer, it's a
and my
white man who
bones
made
are
that
burnt
book.
with heat.
Do you know that?
Let's get Jeremiah. Let's see what Jeremiah said about himself.
So it's really contradicting yourself. Because you say you don't want nothing for the
Let's see
white
what
man,
Jeremiah
you don't
said.
want nothing, but you're taking the white man's book. And
Let's see
that
what
was a
Jeremiah
white
said
man,
about himself.
White as a sheep book.
Because if it was a white man's book, he wouldn't tell him that he's a black guy.
Black man didn't bring that
Right,
book out.
let's see.
Black man didn't
This
bring
is
that
Job
book.
8. Right, this is Jeremiah 8 and 21. It says, for the hurt of my daughter, of my people, I am hurt. I am black. Astonishment has taken hold of
Let me
me.
ask you
Jeremiah
something.
said he's black. So she doesn't want to know you because you're black. She doesn't want to know. Perfect example. You see what I mean? Perfect example. You would have stood up for the same person. You know what?
When they walk past, what is that book?
Literally,
Who
she
made that book?
Literally, she ignored you.
He can answer it for me. Hello, sir.
Literally, she ignored you.
What is holding in his hand?
It's not your genuine Bible, it's man-made, bro.
Did a black man or a white man make that book? You're white yourself.
I don't know, I don't know.
It ain't a black man what made
Why
that
you
book.
asking someone that don't know?
He's white.
Ask me. I will tell
He'll
you.
know.
Ask me.
Let's
I'll
tell the
tell you.
truth. Is it a white man or a black man who made that
Right,
book?
let's get some more black out of the Bible. Yeah?
Right, what do they mean white, bro? Yeah, 'cause it's not from, like, it's from out in the desert area, bro.
Yeah, tell this
So,
guy.
Yeah, we know the demographic.
Let him fall on his own
We're
sword.
not talking about Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
We're just talking
you
about
picked the wrong
who
one
made
there, he knows
that
something.
book in his hand there,
Lamentations 4
so.
and
Let's be
10.
honest, who made that book there?
The government probably made it, bro.
White guy or black guy?
Lamentations.
I don't know what the colour the guy would be that made it, but, you know.
It's gonna be a white guy. Come on, it's gonna be a white guy
It
who
could be
made
anybody,
that book.
bro. It could be
Yeah,
anybody.
you tell him. You tell him.
Nah,
You tell him, son. You
Right?
tell
But
him.
the
Good.
Bible
You tell
would be
him.
in Hebrew.
Nah,
You picked the wrong one there.
It would be in a different dialect.
Right, this is Lamentations 4 and 8. Our visage, listen to this, brother. Our visage is blacker than a coal. He's talking about the Hebrews. He's talking about white man writing this book. And they're not known in the streets. Yeah, their visage, their face is blacker than a coal.
Read that part again.
Right, this is Lamentations 4 and 8. This is what the Hebrews are saying. Our visage, not our visages, our face, is blacker than a coal, but the white man wrote this. They are not known in the streets. Let's go to Lamentations 5 and 10. Yeah?
So they
Lamentations
made that
5
book
and
for black
10,
people
they
then.
say.
Let's switch it around.
Our
then.
skin
Let's switch